Here's Haugo, slips out of a few tackles, and Peter Haugo's out for the races.
I'm doing up for the team.
Sheds the first defender, sheds the second defender.
Busts it open. Jack Smith down the right sideline and into the end zone.
Welcome. It is Varsity Sports Live here on Midco Sports. That is television's Jason Andera. I'm David Brown. Another fun week. We got a lot of games coming up on Saturday in South Dakota, but the games tonight had some very interesting results, a lot of cross-class matchups that we're going to give a chance to look forward to, but just another interesting night with some interesting results.
Yeah, I feel like we learned a lot about some teams tonight. Yankton with a solid win, which we'll get to in a little bit. Winter had to play a class up, and we saw them prevail, and Pierre coasting as usual. But yeah, we'll get to all that as we learn a lot about how these teams are getting ready for their second half of the season already.
Absolutely, yeah. We're 3-4 games in already. Doesn't feel like it. It's early September. It shouldn't be going by this fast, so let's enjoy it while we can.
Let's do it.
Let's get to the South Dakota scoreboard. As we mentioned, some games Saturday. President's Bowl, 11 AAA, number 1 Sioux Falls Lincoln, number 2 Sioux Falls Jefferson. That is tomorrow. The big matchup, Gorman, 41-30 AAA over AA. This was a game that T won last season in T. Gorman gets its revenge tonight, Jandy.
High-scoring games. Last year they combined for over 80 points. This year they combined for over 70. It's going to be fun. We have a lot of highlights to show you from that one.
A couple Saturday games in AAA. Harrisburg hosting Rapid City Stevens, and then the second game of the President's Bowl from Howard Wood Field is Roosevelt and Sioux Falls, Washington. Scores tonight, Brandon Valley. They get off the schneid, 32-0 over Rapid City Central. As you said, Pierre all over Mitchell, 62-8. 143-8 is the combined score of Pierre this season.
Yeah, give Mitchell credit. They got on the board against Pierre. Somebody finally did. But give credit to Brock Mosher. Huge night for him. Only 9 carries, 118 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
This was the most intriguing matchup in AA. Yankton and Watertown. Watertown up 14-0. Yankton scores 31 unanswered. They win by 11.
That's going to be a fun one. They didn't stop Juven Hudson, but they contained him enough. And we'll have highlights of that one coming up.
Sturgis and Aberdeen Central will play on Saturday. Spearfish with a 47-20 win over Douglas. Huron, good to see them get a win after some close games early. 41-6. Colton McNeil had 4 touchdowns passing for the Tigers. This is probably the one that's going to intrigue people the most. Dell Rapids and Hot Springs. It was a close game in the end. Hot Springs number 5 in 11B. Dell Rapids number 1, 11A, the class above. They needed the late touchdown to win.
Yeah, I can't wait to see highlights of this one. That's what a long road trip will do to you. That is a tough trip, but give Hot Springs credit. We're going to talk a lot more about that one.
Yeah, Hot Springs, keep that team in mind as we head down the stretch. Sioux Falls Christian down 7-0 at halftime, scores 2 touchdowns in the second half to win their first game of the season, 14-7 over Dakota Valley.
Yeah, and Canton Seahawks also getting the win over Lennox. Then you see Winter going up a class, getting their big win, 42-13.
And Parkston stays number 1 in 9AA, 16-6 over Hanson. Hamlin, number 2, no problem with Britton Heckler in a battle of undefeated teams, 57-12. Elgin Lake Benton, 39-30 over Dubrook.
And that game flip-flopped a couple times. It looked like Dubrook had control of that one. A high-scoring game in the end, and the Elks find a way to get the 9-point lead and hold off the Dolphins. Great battle of unbeatens before that game.
And Faulkton area, 56-20 in an early game this afternoon over Sully Buttes. They should remain number 1 in Class 9B. Obviously, the Pierre score making a big difference, but that Dell Rapids Hot Springs, we're going to get to the highlights in a little bit, but as you mentioned, a long road trip, and again, there's no moral victories, but Hot Springs, that's a team that you're going to have to keep an eye on down the stretch in Class B.
That's a confidence boost for them to be able to play with the undisputed number 1 team in a class above them. Yeah, watch out as they get some tough games here coming up in the next few weeks.
But of course, we have plenty of highlights to show you, and we will start with that AAA versus AA matchup. Number 2 T in 11AA, number 3 O'Gorman in AAA. As we said, T won this game a year ago, 44-41. First quarter, though, O'Gorman defense coming through. Maverick Jones, tip drill, 34 yards to the house.
The guy plays offense. We know he can play defense as well, and he takes it all the way back to crack open the scoring.
7-0 OG, 7-3 now after a T field goal. Titans showing some fight. Brenner Conrad, Jessen Weavinga.
They were getting the passing game going. We were criticizing them a little bit, not passing enough. They were very efficient today throwing the football.
10-7, T takes the lead. Knights come back. He's O'Gorman's top gun, Maverick Jones. Again, 45 yards.
This guy is so fast to the corner. The blocking is great, too, and they seal it so well. He's got an avenue, and as you see, he does it again, this time on the direct snap. Look at Hayden Gross out in the lead block.
So much Maverick, he should move to Dallas. 43 yards on this run, 21-10 O'Gorman.
Yeah, and it looked like they had a chance to pull away here, but the T-Titans would not let go. They kept the pressure on. A great drive capped off by Riley Swanda, who gets in for the score. This was close.
That cut the lead to 21-17, but all reliable. Political outsiders call themselves Mavericks. Nothing on Mav Jones.
This guy had a game ball first half for sure. 2 picks, 1 back to the house, 3 total touchdowns.
That sets up this touchdown in the ensuing drive. Gruce to Ryland Satter. Oh yeah, OG's got plenty of playmakers. 28-17 at that point. And then some craziness to end the half,
So there's 43 seconds. We have 3 touchdowns, and my camera, obviously it isn't white balance. I'm running out of battery. I get the tail end of these 2 touchdowns, but yeah, some craziness. 3 touchdowns in 43 seconds.
It was 35-24 OG at the break. Second half, Bruce, Henry Theobald, 78 yards.
And this guy, you know, he scored right before halftime and then right out of halftime. Big game for him. And then late in the game, T cuts it, trying to cut it within 1 score, going for it on 4th down. It's broken up, and the O'Gorman Knights, maybe not the most convincing win, but they did enough to keep that cushion. And after the game, Maverick Jones, one of the stars of the game, was happy to get revenge on the Titans.
We knew this game would be a battle since we've been started practicing, and it sure as heck was. And we fought to the end, and both teams did amazing. It was a fun game. You know, I think our guys were able to stick it out in the end, and you know, we just battled, we grinded. We know what it's like to do that in the Brandon game, and we came and did it again.
Yeah, Maverick Jones, as you said, a first half type of game ball. I mean, 2 picks, 1 score on defense, couple scores on offense. He was certainly everything. And what's interesting is in the first 2 games, it was a lot of Theobald, a lot of Satter. Jones was the star in this one.
Jones was definitely a star. And then, yeah, we saw Theobald have a huge middle of the game. Satter was making sacks on defense, and he also got a touchdown. So, yeah, it was a team effort, but this was definitely a game they can point to Maverick Jones and say, thank goodness he's on our team.
41-30, O'Gorman over T. More highlights coming up. Rapid City and Brandon Valley, a couple of 0-2 teams. No score in the first. Check out Levi Viscerno, looking like old Mike Allstott with the Tampa Bay Bucks, bumping off defenders. Wow. Tough 8-yard run, Jandy.
That's great. It's homecoming week. They might have been a little distracted, but Viscerno wasn't distracted.
Later in the first, 4th and 5, Lynx go for it. Jack Toohey to Wyatt Melcher, shakes off the defender, 45 yards.
That's a nice, and he's thrown some nice balls last week, and again this week, put some right on the numbers. He had a couple drops too.
Cobblers created some turnovers, but they just couldn't capitalize. Ryan Wetch is picked off by Gunnar Swift late in the first half. And how about a little love for some special teams, Jandy? Ryder Haas, with 5 seconds to go in the half, 43-yard field goal. The southpaw, the lefty, knocking it through.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. First of all, to have the confidence to go for a 43-yard field goal. Second of all, to just drain it like that in Brandon Valley. Only up 18-0 at halftime here. That was a little bit surprising for some people just kind of looking around the scoreboards. But you said they played well enough, but maybe not their best.
Yeah, Brandon Valley didn't necessarily play the cleanest game possible. They obviously did enough to win this ball game, but as you said, homecoming week, and again, they have plenty of playmakers. They got the win. You know, you don't apologize for a win, but I think there's plenty that this coaching staff can look to and say, hey, we still need a lot of stuff to improve on here. And so Brandon Valley, gets the win over Rapid City Central, 32-0. Hot Springs and Dell Rapids. This was the game that we were talking about, Jandy, that was very interesting. And look at Hot Springs run right through this Dell Rapids defense.
Yeah, this is a power-running football team that returned almost all of their offensive line. The Iverson twins weren't back, but they still have a younger brother named Iverson. But here's Dell Rapids. Look at the strong throw. You wonder if Jack Henry can throw. He can throw the ball.
The future SDSU Jackrabbit with a touchdown pass here. But again, a little bit of sloppiness from Dell Rapids. They're able to make the most of this with Mason Stubbe here. But give credit to Hot Springs. Again, it's a long trip out west, but I mean, Hot Springs played with them well. This ties the game at 14.
Nice throw by Iverson that time. The lefty, he is not tall, but he can put that that ball right on the money when he needs to.
And then Jack Henry, late, would keep the drive going for Dell Rapids, and he would eventually score the game-winning touchdown. There's another touchdown here from Stubbe. That again tied it at 14. Here's the game-winning touchdown. There's less than a minute to go. It's a tie ball game. This is 4th and goal.
Yeah, thanks to Big Sioux Media for the video, and he goes right to the corner. They had a big penalty that pushed them back 20 yards before they got it back down to the 2-yard line. And then as time expired, one more heave for Iverson, and it's Cole Rusink who comes up with the interception and clinches the game for Del Rapids. A stressful game for the Warriors, but they find a way to get the victory, 20-14. But you got to give credit to Hot Springs. They
Absolutely.
played a heck of a game.
Yeah, number 5 in B. I have a feeling based on some other results, they could move up even in this loss.
They could, because 11B, I mean, even some of those top teams haven't really made their mark yet. That's almost a signature game, even though they didn't get the win.
20-14, Del Rapids escapes with the victory out west. Back up to AA, matchup we were looking forward to. Number 3 Yankton and number 4 Watertown. 5 minutes left in the first half. Tucker Gilmore with a touchdown reception here. That ties the game at 14. Remember, Watertown had a 14-0 lead in this game, but Yankton would score 31 unanswered. Field goal here to take the lead, 17-14 into halftime. Into the third, Austin Goebel. He's going to make the catch here and create some separation.
They've got some athletes on the outside, and Lucas Kamshoff, you know, in the younger classes in the JV squad, he set some records at Yankton. So people wondered, is he going to be able to come in and do what Rugby Riken did? Well, yeah, he can put the ball right where it needs to be.
And he can do it on the ground as well. This touchdown made it 31-14. Juven Hudson, he had all 3 touchdowns for Watertown. This one late made the score a little closer than it actually was. But this was kind of a tale of two halves, Jandy, with Watertown up 14-0, Yankton scoring 31 unanswered, and Kamshoff accounting for all 4 touchdowns.
I think Watertown got up early with those 2 Juven Hudson touchdowns, but then Yankton had the answer for Juven Hudson, was able to contain him, and if you put a beating on him and don't let him get those big runs, you can put some points up on the Arrows. I think the Arrows are going to use this film and hope to see a team like Yankton again. On the other hand, Yankton, they get a big win against a previously unbeaten team, but what do they get next week?
They get Pierre.
They get Pierre, and they get to host them at Crane Youngworth, so that's going to be a heck of a game next week.
And also an intriguing matchup with Watertown and Sioux Falls, Washington.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Something to keep your eye on. Madison and West Central tonight. Trojans number 2 in 11A. Early in the first quarter, no score. Trojans on the move. Caden Alfson to Leighton Johnson for the score, 6-0 West Central.
That was a connection. They really didn't throw the ball much, only 4 times all last week, but Leighton Johnson came up huge this week.
Yeah, deja vu. Alfson, Johnson, over the middle, he does the rest.
A nice move, and sometimes you see him break to the outside. He broke to the inside and still broke it free. That is some speed, folks.
14-0 West Central at that point. Bulldogs trying to respond. The Conahan's pass intercepted by the hero last week, Jesse Jost.
Yeah, and Jost is a phenomenal player on both sides of the ball. Ben Brooks is a really good quarterback, but that throw, I mean, he'll tell you he wants that one back.
Taking it to the house, 22-0 West Central. Just before the half, Madison in the red zone. Bulldogs finally on the board. Brooks to Shane Beanoff. He had a great game last week. Nice catch here.
And Beanoff is the real deal. He is a tough guy to cover. 5 catches, I think, on the day, and another big score for him.
But the momentum would swing back to West Central as soon as the second half started. Why do we show kickoffs, Jandy?
Why do we show them? I forget.
Because Jude Jarding's going to take it all the way back.
Oh, yeah, exactly, because he's going to take it to the house. And again, the containment was there, but when you bust through the tackles, and congratulations to Austin Bramley for shooting that, because I didn't shoot the kick return touchdown this week. He did.
Good job, Mr. Bramley. 35-7 Trojans over the Bulldogs. They move to 3-0. Madison falls to 0-3. West Central will be at Vermilion next week, an improved Vermilion team that got a win earlier tonight against Millbank. But give the Trojans credit. They found a little more balance in this game, even with the 248 yards rushing.
You see the stats right there. Alfson has got a great arm. He showed it tonight with just 9 completions, 147 yards, and got both of their offensive touchdowns through the air.
Moving on, number 5 Lennox, number 3 Canton in 11A. No score in the first. Kane Wallner rushing in to put the Seahawks up 6-0.
I love that guy. He is powerful. He can do it receiving. He's been doing it running the football this year. And that's what Canton's going to do to you all year. This is called the Black and Blue Bowl for a reason, folks.
Canton tries the squib kick, but Ethan Larson says, you know what, I'm just going to shake everyone off.
Another kick return?
Not quite. Gets caught inside the 10-yard line, but the Orioles would capitalize. Tristan Butler punching it in to even the score at 6.
Yeah, and the Orioles needed some big plays like that. They needed some momentum plays because it would be tough to hang with a team as physical as the Canton Seahawks.
Later on, Boston Catzer, Drake Michelson. Look at that throw. Nice catch. 14-6 on his touchdown.
Boston Catzer is phenomenal, and he is putting the ball in better places every single week. He is looking better as his connection with his new receivers continues to increase.
Well, that Canton running game, this time it's Cannon McCracken, 14 all. McCracken. They got some great names. Kane Wallner, Cannon McCracken, and yeah, Wallner again on a screen, taking it in 20-14 Seahawks. Wallner, McCracken, Wallner. This time, oh, it's McCracken again.
You know what? I love this Black and Blue Bowl. It is always a rivalry between these two teams for sure, but it was a great game this week, and Lennox had their opportunities to get it done against Canton. But I think Canton's going to be the most physical team anybody plays in 11A this year.
And we need to come up with a nickname for that running back combo of Kane Wallner and
McCracken. All right, let's get some help out there.
How about the Kane and McCracken? Because we can combine their names. Anyways, we're going to workshop that. We got more highlights to get to.
We got other things to do right now, but
yeah, if you have a nickname for the Canton Seahawk running back combo, send us some emails or tweet at us. Do whatever you want, but we need a nickname for that backfield. More highlights in 11A, Sioux Falls Christian and Dakota Valley. This was a bit of a slobber knocker down there in North Sioux City. Panthers strike first. Jackson Boonstra finding his way through the line into the end zone, 3-yard touchdown, 7-0 Dakota Valley. Same score in the second, Panthers threatening again, but Austin Connell says no way. Picks off Drew Lookins' pass in the end zone. That's quite a pick. So the score says 7-0 at halftime in favor of the Panthers. Fast forward to the fourth, things start to get crazy. Christian kicker Jacob Doctor connects from 37 yards out, second field goal and a half to cut it to 7-6. But special teams weren't done. A few minutes later, Trey Peel's punt is blocked, and that gives the Chargers excellent field position. But you'd think they'd go in for a score, but Dakota Valley hadn't answered themselves. They come back, they block Doctor's third field goal, a 47-yarder, so the 1-point lead is safe for now. Just a gritty game, but the Chargers would get the ball back, and this time they finally find the end zone. Lincoln Prinz with an absolute dime to Braden Whitty out of the backfield, 25 yards, first lead of the night, 14-7.
Just when you think we need a big play through the air, Sioux Falls Christian comes up with it, something they've needed all season long.
Dakota Valley trying to get back into it, but Cole Snyder picks off Lookin, and that would do it. Sioux Falls Christian rallies for its first win of the season, escaping Dakota Valley 14-7.
They were hungry for a victory. They had two extremely tough games to open the season. You saw Cole Snyder back. He didn't play in the first 2 weeks. He comes up with the game-clinching interception, and the Chargers get a tough one on the road against a really good Panthers team.
Absolutely. You saw Braden Whitty with that touchdown to give Sioux Falls Christian the ultimate lead, and we heard from Mr. Whitty afterwards.
We ran that play a little bit earlier in the game, and then I told the coach that was open on the backside, so I told him to throw that, and it worked out for us. But he threw a dot, it was right on the money, it was perfect. You know, we started off really rough, and I challenged the boys at halftime. I told them that, this game is not out of hand, even though it should be. It's only 7-0. We got to come back ready to play. We got to have the right mindset, and we got to win this game.
And you mentioned that the Chargers were hungry for a win. They have had a gauntlet of a schedule to start. They played Canton, they played West Central, they played Dakota Valley. They played top 5 teams this whole season. Exactly,
and I love the way he said we challenged the boys, and the boys rose up to that challenge, going on the road. They did have a better team this week with Cole Snyder back. I really do think so. And I think they feel like they can play with anybody in the state after they played close games in Canton with West Central and beating Dakota Valley. I think they got to feel pretty good.
And absolutely, coming back from a 7-0 halftime deficit in a game where it was hard to score through the first 3 quarters, Sioux Falls Christian.
What a fourth quarter, by the way.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sticking around. That's the thing I love about Varsity Sports Live is we give you the endings of games, and that fourth quarter was amazing.
Absolutely. 14-7, Sioux Falls Christian over Dakota Valley. Another cross-class matchup, Winner and Beersford. Winner taking on a class up. No score in the first. Aiden Barfus changes that.
And Barfus, that's the guy that they need to really step up. They share the ball amongst 4 or 5 running backs every year, but Barfus needs to step up to make this team a real threat.
Man, we have shown a lot of kickoffs, especially not only this season, but on this specific episode. Gavel Valder answers back on the ensuing kickoff, 87 yards down the sideline.
Nice block there. You see, there was a temptation by a couple of watchdogs to maybe have a block in the back, and they avoided that. Great job on the special teams.
Tied at 6, but the Warriors come right back down. Carson Kaiser will take this carry himself, and that will give Winter a 12-6 lead at halftime. Again, this is a tough road game for Winter.
Yeah, Kaiser's kind of the lightning to Barfus' thunder, and a nice combination back there for the Warriors.
Second half, Barfus again finding the end zone, just muscling his way through. That extends the Winter's lead. And later on, it would be Gus Bartle scoring late. That would put the game out of reach. Warriors really took control of the second half of this one.
Yeah, I know the Watchdogs are maybe down a little bit. They had 2 really good teams the last couple of years, but still a very good win for Winter to go up a class and to get a convincing win. So each week, they get a little bit more convincing, and rest assured, yes, we are a #1 team.
And think of where they were 4 weeks ago, that 8-0 overtime,
Right.
triple overtime slobber knocker against Tri-Valley, to going here where they've scored 40-plus points each of the last 3 weeks.
Exactly, and the schedule does get tougher for them here in the next couple of weeks as well.
Yet they are at Flandreau next week. Beersford is at Lead Deadwood. #1 Parkston hoping to remain undefeated as they hosted Hanson tonight. No score in the first quarter. Beavers on the move. Brock Tuttle takes the handoff, runs through the Trojan defense, 32-yard strike, just gets caught up there, but he keeps the drive moving. Then a couple plays later, Jay Slava punching it in from 2 yards out, 6-0 Hanson.
6-0 Hanson. This score looks a little familiar. Remember, last year's score was 8-6.
Absolutely. Midway through the second, same score. Slava's pass intercepted by Luke Borman, and he's going to return it into the Hanson red zone down to the 12. Ensuing drive, Borman can do it on offense too. Takes the jet sweep in from 3 yards out. It's 8-6 Parkston at the half. It was 8-6 Hanson as the final last year. Third quarter, biggest play of the game. Borman, not so boring here. Check out these moves. Cutting it outside, inside, outside, around back. And he is all the way turned up, 75 yards.
Last week it was Coulter Kramer getting the big touchdowns. This week, Luke Borman. They've got the luxury of having several different backs who can get it done. And yeah, look at the records. I know Hanson's 2-2, but they are very good 2-2, losing to just Howard and Parkston. And Parkston, they to me are the most physical team in 9AA.
Luke Borman with both rushing touchdowns and the big interception. He was obviously key in the 16-6 victory for Parkston, as they should remain #1 in 9AA. Couple of undefeated teams, Britton Heckler and Hamlin. Chargers up 7-0 in the first, looking for more. Tyson Stevenson rolling right. It's going to hit Mason Trowbridge, tight ropes the sideline into the end zone. Hamlin doubles its lead to 14-0. 35-0 in the second. The Braves, well, they get a little luck. This is a botched kickoff, and Peyton Pearson is Johnny on the spot. He actually rumbles in for the score.
Another kick return, Dave?
Another kick return. We've had, what, like 4?
Every highlight has had a kick return.
Pretty much. 35-6 now. But that's about all the mistakes that Hamlin would make. They would answer right back, and by answer right back, I mean literally this is the very next play. It's another kickoff return. Would you believe it? And it's the man of the night, Mason Trowbridge.
Yeah, Mason Trowbridge, one of the several guys on this Hamlin team who have just played outstanding. Luke Frazier getting set to come back for this Hamlin Charger team, so they're going to get even better, 9AA. I think the Chargers are coming at you. This is a convincing win against Britton Heckler, who's an improved team over last year.
Yeah, both these teams came in undefeated at 3-0, but Hamlin, no question about it, 57-12 over Britton Heckler. So the Chargers moved to 4-0. Parkston and Hamlin kind of battling each other for supremacy in 9AA right now, and their schedules are only going to get more difficult.
And I think there's some of these other 9AA teams that have a loss already that are still going to have something to say. I think Howard is getting better as we go. I think Wall got that quick loss, but they could be back in the mix. 9AA is still going to be a lot of fun, but this Hamlin team, to me, that's the team I've been voting #1.
Absolutely. 57-12 Hamlin over Britton Heckler tonight. When we come back, we will move up to North Dakota. Jody Norstedt, Carson Zark will join us. Playing North Dakota highlights when we return.
Varsity Sports Live, presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different. Varsity Sports Live, presented by South Dakota State University. Build a better future with South Dakota State University.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. David Brown, Jason Andera. Fun night in South Dakota. Let's get a look at some scores from North Dakota. In AAA, it was Minot over Mandan 28-12 as we get a look at the scores. Big win in the top 5 matchup in AAA. Fargo Davies, they fall to Bismarck 22-3. West Fargo Cheyenne with a narrow victory 26-24 over Bismarck Century. The game you saw here right on Midco, West Fargo and Bismarck Legacy Packers get their first win 38-14. Bismarck St. Mary's 23-6 over Williston, and in a cross-class matchup, it is Shanley over Fargo South 49-28. Fargo North all over Wapaton 65-7. Jamestown 35-21 over Grand Forks Central. Grand Forks Red River 48-6 over Turtle Mountain. Dickinson with a shutout victory over Watford City. In Class A, it's Harrington over Thompson by 30. Central Cass shuts out Lisbon 55-0. Killdeer with a 40-7 victory over Bowman County. Dickinson Trinity with a shutout of their own, 42-0 over Beulah. New Rockford Cheyenne in overtime. Great game, 36-34 over North Prairie. West Hope Newburgh Glenburn 50-0 over Surrey. Another great game, Grant County Flash over LintonHMB 34-30. New Salem Almont over Napoleon Gackle Streeter 52-22. Sargent County 50-14. And I get a chance at a correction, Windmere Lidgerwood, not Windmere, Windmere Lidgerwood 40-20. The Warbirds stay undefeated. Glad I got a chance to correct
You're
myself.
a true North Dakotan now, just like our friends in North Dakota.
And let us go to our friends in North Dakota. We always know about Jody and Norstedt, but welcome to the team. Carson Zarek, former Wapaton Husky, former MSU Moorhead Dragon. You guys called a great game tonight. West Fargo with the victory, 38-14, and plenty of other great action up north.
Yeah, a lot of great games. And by the way, Carson, we have his helmet even here on the set. The Wapaton Huskies, got to give you some love. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for broadcasting alongside us tonight. West Fargo and Legacy kind of putting on a show. West Fargo finally getting that first win, getting the monkey off their back, so to speak.
Yeah, they needed it. I mean, starting off 0-2, tonight was a big stepping stone in putting their season in the right direction and help getting that first win. Like you said, getting that monkey off their back felt good for them, I bet.
And David, you guys went through the scoreboards, but I want to highlight, again, North Prairie, we just got their helmet this week. They were ranked number 1 in 9-man. They passed New Salem Almont, according to the voters, but give all the love to New Rockford Cheyenne, who went to North Prairie tonight and upset them. A battle of unbeatens, 36-34 in overtime. The Rockets trailed by 13 in the fourth. North Prairie actually blocked a Rockets extra point with 50 seconds left to force overtime, and the Rockets get it done in overtime. So they are celebrating New Rockford, Cheyenne, Maddox, and that new co-op now 4-0 and just beat the number 1 team in the state. There will be a lot of celebration there. But let's go to a different type of number 1. Shanley, the top team in the top class, taking on South, a battle of unbeatens. Always a good rivalry, even with the schools playing at different levels now. South ranked 3rd in 2-way. Shanley up 14-7 in the second, looking for more, but Landon Meyer on 4th down, picked off by Aiden Hers. South with some momentum, but that would only delay the inevitable. Shanley right back to work after holding South scoreless. Meyer takes it himself, a 21-7 lead. Demarion Semenko got a kick return and make it a 1-score game, but Shanley not done yet. Meyer is going to pump fake it and hit Caden Christman, who fights his way into the end zone here.
Yeah, they just have a plethora of dynamic athletes across the board. There you see Christman getting a touchdown for Shanley.
And at the half, it was 28-14. The Deacons stayed perfect tonight with a 49-28 win. You see versus Cheyenne coming up next week. We will have that one for you live on Midco Sports. 1 versus 2 in the state. Boy, that's going to be fun. How about that matchup? Second-ranked Cheyenne hosting Century tonight. Mustangs playing shorthanded, though. Quarterback Caleb Deere out with a sprained ankle. Insert junior Caden Olson in his place. Patriots back to the scene of last year's crime. Remember, they were the 8 seed and stunned the number 1 seed of Mustangs. Great start for them here, too. Gavin Lill, 55 yards for the score. But when you are in a fight, you look for help from who else but your big brother. Caden is going to hook up with his brother Noah here for the big gain. Look at that. Right down the sideline. I guess my older brothers weren't as nice, probably, as that. How about you?
Yeah, no, that's just some brotherly love there. You love to see the two-hand combo there.
And 3 plays later, Caden into the end zone from 4 yards out. Mustangs back in business, down 10-7. Later in the second, Olson going to hit Race Wilson. I mean, we've probably said this line 100 times, but it's still written in the shout sheet every week. He races into the end zone. 19-yard score, Cheyenne up 14-10. But there was no quitting century tonight. Gavin Lill, a big piece to the puzzle. Another huge touchdown, 77 yards.
Yeah, Gavin Lill putting the team on his back tonight. Just a veteran out there doing what he's got to do with a big touchdown, putting on the burners there.
Yeah, putting on some moves too. Patriots ahead 17-14. This game back and forth all night. Olsen connects with Colby Walter from 16 yards out. Mustangs back up 20-17. They build on that lead. One more time in the fourth. How about the Olsen to Olsen connection again? Noah quite the athlete. It's 26-17. Century coming back though. Mike Twardowski hits Cale Schomer from deep, and it's 26-24 with just 4 minutes left. Century fighting their way back into it. After a quick 3-and-out, they have a chance at a 44-yard field goal to take the lead, but Christian Jangula, enough distance, but it's wide left, and the Mustangs hang on for the win, 26-24. Boy, what a sigh of relief the Mustangs can breathe as they remain undefeated.
A little nervous at first, but after the first play, I settled right in, and the guys got my back on the offense, so I just trusted them to make plays. I was just trying to get the ball in our playmakers' hands and let them make plays. You know, our line had great push every time. Just everyone played good. A great game.
What a spot for Caden Olsen to come in. You take over for a senior quarterback, and he jumps into that spot, and he leads into a victory.
Yeah, he kind of just picked up where, he left off, and connected with his brother, I think, helped ease him into the game a little bit. Having that connection to go to his, go-to target like that, I think really helped him out.
It's a big win against a Century team that obviously ended Cheyenne's season last year, so some bad memories. Another cross-state matchup is 4th-ranked Davies hit the road to take on Bismarck. Davies played Cheyenne tight last week while the Demons snapped an 11-game losing streak. How about this early on? Gage Brewer gonna thread the needle. Whoop, almost an interception. Not so fast though. Malachi Weirmeyer gets the big gain, the coach's kid. And it sets up this. Davies not gonna get a field goal, or not gonna get 7 points out of this, but they will get a field goal, Thompson Fisher, but it ends up being a huge thing that they didn't get a touchdown because things kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah, as you see here, Bismarck, you see them doing their thing, running for the touchdown here. Big touchdown for the Demons.
Yeah, Quinn Hafner, the screen pass across the field to Carter Henke. If you missed that highlight, well, here it is again, but it's an actually different play. Pretty much the same play, though. Henke makes it 14-0. You don't see that very often where the exact same play scores touchdowns on back-to-back possessions.
Yeah, if it's working, why not do it again?
Fourth quarter, Bismarck still in cruise control. Quinn Hafner over the middle to Luke Doctor. And again, this is a Davies defense that's been playing really well this season. Rain coming down. There it is, drop it down. Carter Henke on the ground this time. Doesn't need a screen pass every time to score a touchdown. Rumbles his way into the end zone. A 3-touchdown night for Henke, and Bismarck beats Davies 22-3. A massive win for this Demons program that just had things clicking, especially the screen pass to Henke that connected twice for touchdowns. Carter, what do you have for us?
Well, coach tells me every time we run one play, look for it. Every time I run over there, I look for it. No one's over there, I'm telling them, give me the ball. There it is. It's easy. From last year, 0 wins, to this year we're now at 2 wins. Feels great.
Yeah, they go from 0 wins last year to getting a couple of big wins here in back-to-back weeks. So big wins for Bismarck. How about Mandan and Minot? That's a top 5 matchup. Let's get into those highlights in the Magic City. 3rd-ranked Minot still hasn't allowed a point. Could Mandan crack the code? Well, we start with the Magi on offense. Lucas Beater, deep ball to Logan Conklin, and Minot's first offensive drive results in a 50-yard touchdown. Minot gets the ball back. Beater going to hand off to Tyson Ruziska, and boy, is Ruziska fun to watch, Carson.
Yeah, he sure is. He's got the speed to really take it the distance at any distance of the field. As we can see here, long run by Ruziska. He was turning it on tonight.
Rolling down the field. Then Beater's going to find Griffin Broderick. He had an angry run that was involved in our extra credit, and Broderick, he just loves the physicality. My goodness, he's strong.
Yeah, he looked like he was seeking out contact on that one.
The extra point is blocked, so it's 13-zip Minot. Second quarter, though, Beater under center. And why not give it back to Tyson Ruziska in just whether it's his speed, and they kind of have a good thunder and lightning combo going with Broderick and Ruziska.
Yeah, a good 1-2 punch. You know, Ruziska's got the speed, and then Broderick's got the power. You can really see it come to fruition here with these two.
Yeah, there goes Broderick again. Minot does give up its first points of the season, but the Magi move to 3-0 with a 28-12 win. Gosh, the guy lost his shoes. 28-12 win over the 5th-ranked Braves, and now Minot goes to Century next week. Should be another fun tilt for the Magi out in the WDA. Well, this is the one that we had for you live on Midco Sports. Desperation for both teams. Legacy visiting West Fargo, someone poised to get their first win. Leighton Hofflin was a really good weapon tonight in the run game for the Packers.
Yeah, Hofflin definitely set up the pass game by just continuously running the ball all over Legacy tonight.
And Keaton McGregor, good to have him back. He missed last week, and that was after he had the whopper of a game in the opener, 13 catches for 246 yards and 3 scores. Just 2 touchdowns tonight and over 100 yards receiving. Then it's Hofflin into the end zone again, makes it 22-0. And then how about this play from Isaac Mitchell? Legacy's been looking to kind of jumpstart their offense, and this really helped Mitchell, making the defenders look silly on this run.
Yeah, they needed a spark out of someone on the offense, and Mitchell, as you can see, provided that with a big touchdown run to get him up on the board.
Yep, made it 22-7 going into halftime, but then how about this? Hofflin zigzagging, making some people miss. Again, continuing to pile up yards. He ended up with 104 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, but this was our Wimmers Diamonds play, our web gem of the game. Web gem? This ain't baseball, but Keaton McGregor nonetheless, 48-yard score. And then back, Hofflin going to work. He has this run, and then he sneaks it in on the Wildcat. A big night and good balance shown by the Packers.
Yeah, great balance. The running game was stomping along, setting up the passing game, which really led to a big night out of McGregor.
Packers go on to win it 38-14, move to 1-2 on the season. You see Mitchell and Yusuf Jama, both the touchdowns for the Sabres, who did get us a helmet this week. So that's why we had to make sure we put that on display. Thank you to Chris Clements and his team for doing that. But Leighton Hofflin and the Packers get the last laugh in trying to turn things around after an 0-2 start.
We really wanted to send a message back saying that that's not our actual record, and we didn't actually play how it looked, and really needed to get back here. And I'm glad that the outcome was good. So.
And now West Fargo takes on a Davies team who's kind of licking its wounds after getting beat by Bismarck tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Bismarck came out, and after not having any wins last year, getting these first 2 wins to start the season has to feel good for Bismarck High right now.
Good for the Demons, and Davies will try to get things back on track against the Pack. Let's go to Double-A. North against Wapton. Carson's Wapton squad. Do you think they can pull off a win against top-ranked North, Carson?
You know, I was hoping for tonight.
Well, it didn't look good even from the start. Ethan Welk to the big man Carter Zeller on the end around. Spartans jump ahead 6-0. Then how about the kickoff? Big special teams play here. A surprise onside kick, and the Spartans get it back. Lucas Jackson is going to corral this one, keeping the feet in bounds to give possession back to Northside, leading to another Spartan TD. Move to the second quarter, 16-0. Spartans not slowing down. Zeller, the big man, the tight end, in for another score, makes it 23-0. North is 3-0 after the 65-7 win. They were off last week. Boy, did that North team look pretty fresh this week.
Yeah, they sure did. Putting up 65 points against my alma mater hurts a little bit, but a lot of season left for Wapton and the boys.
Right on. Jamestown, how about them? Second trip to Grand Forks in 3 weeks, hoping for a different result than they had against Red River, taking on Central. Knights were shut out at home last week by South. Picked this one up in the first. Well, Jamestown trailing 7-0, but not anymore. Ryan Callback to Nate Walls is tied at 7. Second quarter, Blue Jays up a score, looking to add on. Callback again to Jackson Jarrett, Double J. Jamestown takes a 21-7 lead into halftime. After a scoreless third, the points start flying in the final frame. On a 4th and goal, Callback his 3rd touchdown of the night. He was slinging darts.
Yeah, I played with his older brother, and Colin Bach, the younger brother, is doing the same thing. He's quite the athlete out there.
I think it's actually his cousin, but still family.
Still
Central
family.
says, hold on 1 second. They make a change at QB. Jack Simmers comes in, and well, Jack gets into the end zone, makes it 28-14 with 10 minutes to go. A few moments later, Simmers, how about a little teardrop to Leo Strandell, who is wide open. We got ourselves a game, 28-21, but with 2:22 to go, Tyson Jorison's going to put the nail in the coffin. Look at this run.
Yeah, look at this, just right up the middle and just runs away from the defenders. Kind of turns on the Jets at the end, and this was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
And Jamestown does go on to win at 35-21. So after that loss to Red River in their opener, they have now bounced back with 2 straight wins. Blue Jays flying high.
It's a pretty big win after that first week Red River loss on the road. We needed one on the road to get on track for the season and just get that one in our belt. We came together. We played our game at the end. We kind of let up, but then we figured it out and found a way to stop them.
Let's go to Class A. Lisbon taking on Central Cass. Let's get right into the highlights. Keep this thing flowing. Just outside the top 5 for both these teams in the latest Class A poll. Squirrels faithful going nuts in the pregame for their home team, looking to knock off an unbeaten, and certainly starts out that way. Jacob Thompson, one of the first few plays, gets the pick 6, 7-0. Squirrels, again, off an onside kick. Here's another heave for Braden Mitchell. Wide open is Thompson again, inside the 5, now punching it in. How about a handoff to Isaac Wisniewski, who barrels in for a 21-0 lead. A couple minutes later, Mitchell, again, this time to Cale Pearson. Central Cass was on fire tonight.
Yeah, they looked dominant tonight. They kind of walked over and kind of did what they wanted to do with Lisbon and picked up a very nice win for the Squirrels.
It was 28-0 at that point, and this is a lopsided final. Again, Lisbon was undefeated going into this one. Central Cass sends a message, a 55-0 drubbing by the Squirrels. Well, Harrington has bounced back well after that thrilling loss to Botno in the opener. Cardinals and Thompson playing a team they've never beaten in the modern era. First quarter, Thompson looking good on the opening drive, but watch out for McCade Zink. Not only an interception here, but he's almost going to return this thing all the way back for a pick 6. He is going to return it back for a pick 6, excuse me, just like that. Cardinals up 6-0. They continue to work away. Extending the lead to 22-0. A handoff to Logan Wenninger, and he rolls left, takes it in for 6. Well, that is a big night for Wenninger. Big start to his night. Cardinals just continuing to go to work. Thompson trying to chip away. That one's skied, and it's Carter Peterson coming down with it. But then the Cardinals extending a lead to 22 in the second. Logan Wenninger, boy, what a big night for him. The senior was on fire in this one. Tommies do find their spark. That was Carter Peterson with the touchdown. Wenninger makes it 30-7. Thompson, more in him here before the half ends. Play of the night here, 4th and 21. Brody Gibson. See you later. Gibson running it all the way. Deficit cut in half at the break. But Harrington doesn't slow down in the second half. Handoff to Corbin Clifton. Harrington gets a marquee win tonight over the Tommies, 45-15. To move to 3-1 on the season for the Cardinals.
Feels great being able to come out here on a away game and just come out, get an interception, get a pick 6, first drive of the game. I feel like on defense we really shut them down. We forced them into a lot of 4th downs, and on offense we literally just ran them down. Our linemen just kept pushing, and you got to thank the trench dogs out there, and I'm just glad that I have them blocking for me. It feels great. It feels great to be able to come out here and just dominate and do what we do best.
How about a shout out to those trench dogs? Well, there were 2 battles of unbeaten squads in 9-man tonight. We talked to you about New Rockford Cheyenne's win over North Prairie. How about Walker Broughton from West Hope Newburgh Glenburn, his 5th ranked squad taking on the Surrey Mustangs. Walker had 8 touchdowns last week. He gets a touchdown pass there to Will Arce to start. Then he hands it off to his teammate, getting the touchdown there, or getting the 2-point conversion. Mustangs get the ball on 4th down. Coming around, Tegan Walhood, the quarterback, finds Logan Vollmer across the middle for Surrey, breaks a couple of tackles, gets a first down, but this was all Sioux. Walker Broughton going to shed some tackles. This guy, again, had 8 touchdowns last week. He is an automatic touchdown on the field. 55 yards for this score.
Yeah, 8 touchdowns is unheard of, and he just kind of piled on more this week to what he was doing last week.
And the Sioux are dangerous. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. They roll again tonight for the victory, 50-0 all over Surrey in this one. Let's get to our final game, a game that will likely determine some playoff positioning in October, taking place in Region 4. LintonHMB putting its 3-0 record on the line at Grant County Flasher after forcing a quick 3-and-out. LintonHMB marched right down the field. Gentry Richter to Cashton Moser. 2-pointer makes it an 8-0 lead. Rest of the first half, though, the Javin Freeze show. This is going to be 62 yards for the touchdown for Javin Freeze, one of the more impressive athletes in the state.
Yeah, I'd say so. Freeze really took off there and just burned the secondary on that touchdown.
Storm force a turnover on downs, facing a 3rd and short. They go for the sneak, and look who pops out. It's Freeze, taking it to the house again. Breaks away, makes it 14-8. It was Freeze all night. He freezes LintonHMB's chance at winning this game. 34-30. How about that win for the Storm? Let's take a look at the scoreboard as Javin points to the sky. That was a 61-yard touchdown. Big play Javin, and he's already won a game ball, made a strong case last week, and 34-30 victory for the Storm tonight in high school football. So plenty of great highlights that we just showed you there. We have some zone coverage coming up next. That is when Varsity Sports Live returns right here on Midco Sports.
Varsity Sports Live, presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different.
Well, things starting to sort themselves out now. We're into week 3 of the season. I think Shanley, Cheyenne, obviously the 1-2, and Minot. I think all 3 of those teams you could probably group in that same pairing. And we'll have, by the way, Cheyenne and Shanley on Midco Sports next Friday. But I think one of those teams kind of flying under the radar right now, the Bismarck High Demons, and what they did tonight, a 22-3 win over Davies. Remember, this is a team that did not win a game a year ago, and now they have strung together back-to-back wins. Mark Gibson afterwards pretty proud of his group.
I think that's a credit to our kids, and our kids, our senior class, we always talk about tradition and things like that, and the one thing we kind of stressed to them was start your own tradition. Let's not worry about what we did in the past. You guys be the pioneers. You can be a new crew, and I can't think of a better senior crew that did this and have been doing it than they did in the summer. A lot of commitment off season, and they get it turned around. We got a long way to go. She's 1 win, but we'll definitely take it.
You can tell from Mark Gibson's voice how proud he is of that unit. And that's not easy to go from a winless season to coming back and getting fired up for a new year.
Yeah, getting 2 wins early, beating number 4 Davies Eagles to start the season could catapult them in some really good momentum to carry them the rest of the way.
Yeah, huge win for BHS. Another team that had a big win, Jamestown, came back to Grand Forks, where they had lost a couple weeks ago against Red River, and they were able to beat Grand Forks Central tonight, 35-21. The Knights came back a little bit, but Bill Nelson's Jamestown squad improves to 2-1.
And that's something that we've talked about all spring, all summer. Who's going to be the leaders? And had some guys step up. We made a play at the very end of the game, but there was a lot of opportunities that we need to get better at. And that's kind of our motto is it's better every day. It #better every day, and you got to keep working. You got to keep on. And again, we're not going to complain about a W on the scoreboard at the end of the day.
So the 2-time defending state champs, as Bill Nelson said, just got to keep on stacking things together and getting wins. But that's it for me and Carson. You guys take us home.
All right, thank you very much. Nice job, Carson, in your debut, and we look forward to seeing you on in future weeks. Jody, Norstedt, and Carson Zarek from West Fargo. Down here in South Dakota, Gorman, huge win over T, 41-30. And let's hear from Jason Popping, a little revenge after T beat O'Gorman last season.
It came down to, us making plays, and, we let them hang around for a long time with drop passes and officials, calls and penalties and unfortunate things that happened. And our defense did a great job of, getting momentum right away, getting a couple turnovers for us that kind of set the tone. And, then we just couldn't quite get it put away. And, that's something that as good teams are going to need to learn how to do.
And even in the victory, finding ways for his team to improve.
Yeah, he thought that they had some chances to put them away. They did have some chances to put them away, but their field position really kept them in the game and maybe made them win by more than they should because of the defense and special teams.
3-0 for O'Gorman. Another team that got their first win tonight, Sioux Falls Christian, 14-7. They come back against Dakota Valley, and head coach Jared Smith spoke with us afterwards.
Another slugfest, week 3 of punching people in the face and seeing who's going to drop first. We've played now the number 2, number 3, and number 4 team in the state to start off the season, and we know what's going to happen. We had, it's the same schedule as last year. We know it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and we just constantly are preaching to love each other and to give persistent, relentless effort and to just win the moment with focus, and good things will happen, whether it's on the football field or in your life. And our kids just don't quit. They love each other, and they give great effort, and they don't quit.
Gotta love how he compared it to punching people in the face.
You do. And I also like the way he said this is how last year started. They started by losing last year right away and then coming back and making a strong push in the playoffs.
14-7 Sioux Falls Christian over Dakota Valley tonight. We will put a bow on this week's Varsity Sports Live when we come back on Midco Sports.
Varsity Sports Live, presented by South Dakota State University. Build a better future with South Dakota State University.
More high school action tomorrow, the President's Bowl. Lincoln against Jefferson and Roosevelt against Washington. Here on Midco, we got college football tomorrow. St. Thomas and South Dakota at 1. Montana State, South Dakota State at 6. For Carson, Jody, Jandy, I'm Brownie. See ya.